Hi everybody, today I want to talk to you a little bit about the median and the 5-number summary. Super handy. Median's used a lot for measures of center, and then the 5-number summary we'll use to help describe the data, and then eventually will help us graph like modified box and whisker graphs. And that'll be shown in a different video. So I have a set of data, and I have some discrete countable data right now. And we're going to let this represent the ages of children at a birthday party. Okay, we can see we have some like young kids, maybe, a teenager to watch them, or like an older sibling. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about what a median is. And the median, you think middle. So if you were driving in the road and something was in the middle, we call that the median or the median strip. So it's right in the middle. And so for the median in stats, it's the 50th percentile or the 50% mark for ordered data. And we can take a look that our data isn't ordered right now. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to always order our data if we're looking for the median. And so here I am kind of accounting for my data, and again double checking that I still have 9 children, that I didn't leave anything out. So now I'm going to go ahead, and this is a super common technique where we just cross out the 2 on the ends, and we keep doing that until we get to the center of the data. And so our median is going to be 5. And we knew we were going to fall on a number because we have an odd number of children, 9. And so if you go 4 in on the left and 4 in on the right, you're going to land in a middle number, which is 5. So let's take a look at another data set. I wanted to show you that you could also find the median with negative values, with decimal values, with fractional values, whatever, so long as your data set is ordered. So again, we're going to need to order this data. And this time I gave you a data set where n is an even number, 6. So if we go 3 in and 3 in, we're not going to land on a value. We're going to land in between these 2 middle values, 0 and 1.8. And so what happens if you don't land on a value, then you need to take the mean or the arithmetic average between those 2 values in the center, between 0 and 1.8. We average those 2 values together, and the median happens to be 0.9. Okay, so now let's extend this and talk a little bit about the 5-number summary. So I have my ordered data from set 1. And the 5-number summary is essentially 5 values that you have to find, 5 quantities. A low, a Q1, a Q2, a Q3, and a high. So the Qs all stand for quartiles, because what they do is they separate the data into 25% chunks. So you have 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and then 4 quarters of the data once you take a look at your 5-number summary. And so the low is always the lowest number, and the high is always the highest number, regardless of if you think you have an outlier. And we'll talk about the outlier rule and how to test for an outlier in another video. So now Q2 happens to always be the median. So if somebody says quartile 2, they actually mean the median, the 50th percentile. And so now what we do is to find Q1 and Q3, it's like you're finding little mini medians, one on the left-hand side and one on the right-hand side. So you're going to cover everything on the right-hand side, and you're going to just look at the left-hand side. And so when I cover everything on the right-hand side, including the median, and I'm only looking on the left-hand side, then I only see these values right here, 3, 4, 4, 4. And so I need a middle between just those 4 values here. And so between 4 and 4, that's where my median is going to live. And I, again, didn't fall on the number, so I have to average between 4 and 4, and the average between 4 and 4 is 4. I'm going to do the same thing on the right-hand side. I'm going to essentially cover everything on the left-hand side, including the median, and I'm going to look for the middle on the right-hand side. And between 6 and 6, happens to be 6. So there's my five number summary. And then if I wanted to, I could turn around and graph a box plot, or I could do the outlier test. I'm a little suspicious about 12. It might be an outlier because it's really not within that group of ages, kind of like far away. But I wouldn't really know it until I looked at it visually, or maybe I tested mathematically. So, but just again, notice that now we have these little chunks of value that signifies 25% blocks of data right there. And then the middle 25% between Q3 and Q1, that's what we call the IQR, the interquartile range. And we'll be using that also as a measure of spread. So when somebody uses the median, they often use the IQR as well to describe data. So now we're going to look at example 2. Again, I want my data ordered, and I'm going to find the 5 number summary for this data, striking first the low and the high, super simple. And then we found the median last time, which was between 0 and 1.8, so it was 0.9. Again, we call that Q2 or quartile 2, 50th percent mark. And now we're going to cover everything on the right, including the median. But remember, the median didn't exist here. It wasn't actually a number. So we're just going to cover 3 values on the right and look at the 3 values on the left. And right there, that's the middle for my 3 values on the left. And so that's going to be Q1. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right-hand side. So there's Q3. So now I have my 5 number summary for example 2. And so let me just put the values in. And remember how we said that the IQR was between Q3 and Q1? It's actually Q3 minus Q1. So it's an actual value that you can find. And you're just going to subtract those two. And so when we take 4.3 minus negative 2.1, we actually get 6.4. So the IQR, that interquartile range, or those range of the 2 values of the quartiles, that's going to be 6.4. So hopefully this helps, and keep on doing your math. Excellent job, people.